Hey, Inspire Me. I'm here. What you see behind me, that's the Polish presidential palace. And I'm here because I want to talk to you about someone who is really a great example of how a politician should be. So it's cold outside, so I'm going to go inside and I'll talk to you more about him. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey, Inspire Me, I'm here in a place that you certainly are wondering, like, where is he? Look at the background. It's a wonderfully nice place, and I'm here in Warsaw in Poland. Inspire Me. I'm trying to bring you another story, right? It's all about positive inspiration. It's all about what is best. About getting you to make that decision that you need to make to be a better person. I find inspiration through the places that I go through. I find inspiration through the people that I meet. And I want you to experience that too. And today, my good friend here will inspire you through the story of Warsaw, its people, and a lot of other amazing things. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm really happy to have you here. Would you mind introducing yourself to the viewers so that they can know you before you can inspire us to, yes.
Sure, thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I think like it's a very interesting show and I'm happy to be part of it.
Oh, thank you.
I'm an art historian. I've traveled a lot. I was born in Poland. And I grew up here, 2-3 hours from Warsaw, from Warsaw. And I lived several years in France. I also lived several years in New York and many other places in the United States. And I'm currently an art history professor in Texas.
Okay, so thank you for doing this. And my first question to you, we're here at the Prudential building, right? So, what is important about this building in the history of Warsaw, and why it is a certain place today?
Prudential building is actually one, I think, of the most interesting places in Warsaw.
Okay.
And it has, it's actually the first skyscraper actually that was built in the city, and one of the earliest ones that were built in Europe.
Okay.
It was in 1930s, and Prudential actually, the name of the building is related to an British insurance company. They wanted to have its, their own building actually in Warsaw.
Okay.
And they built it in 1930s. But it's actually, even this is a British insurance company, the building is really related to the history of the town, of Warsaw, of Poland.
Okay.
Because just would like to remind that the country regained its independence in 1918, after the World War I. And before then, the country was had been erased for more than 120 years from the map of Poland, because it was divided between three neighboring countries, very strong countries: Germany, Austria, the Habsburg Empire, and also Russia. So can you imagine this feeling in 1980s when the country regains an independence?
Yeah.
And what happens? People are very hopeful. They want to build anew, and they want to build in a new style that brings them, a kind of hope and also feeling in progress. Progress and a kind of technological progress. And at the same time, the first skyscrapers are being built, and they had been already built in the United States.
Okay.
And Poland is trying to adopt this style for these high-rise buildings. And Prudential is basically the first skyscraper that was built here in this location.
Okay.
And it means that it used the steel construction. And as today we think about skyscrapers like buildings that have more than 50 floors. At the time, basically, such a building had a little bit more than 10 floors.
Okay.
So this one has 18 floors. It uses steel construction, and it was built in an Art Deco style, which was very popular at the time, and it expressed this feeling and progress. So it just related to this newborn kind of country that was trying to show its position, like in terms of futuring a new architecture.
Okay.
This feeling of progress. But then this kind of, I think, importance of the building changed with World War II, because what happened, when German occupied Poland and Warsaw, the Polish people, of course, resisted this occupation.
Okay.
And one of the places that they wanted actually to regain was this particular building, the Prudential.
Okay.
So it happened, they really struggled to regain it, to also show that this is one of the buildings that were important to them. Regaining this building again showed that, they felt stronger. So they were fighting over this building for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Eventually they were able to, raise a flag on this building.
Okay.
And this was an important symbolic, basically, event. And the German, again, they wanted to regain the building. So eventually, because the Warsaw Uprising from 1944 ended up, basically, in a kind of a negative way for Polish people. So the Germans actually decided to throw shells and artillery towards the building, and it was really destroyed. And some people captured this with the cameras of the time. There are several images that show this building basically under fire with lots of
But I understand that even though it was bombarded by the Germans, it never went down.
It never went down because it never went down, but the pictures actually show, that most of the building was basically in ruins. But the steel construction, this heavy steel construction, was still standing.
Okay.
And so this picture were important because they kind of still, the significance was the resistance, right, to the German occupation. And this place actually, the building was renovated after the war, after Poland regained, again, its independence in 1945. And in 1950s, they, the same architect who had built this building before, he renovated it in a new social realistic style, because, following World War II, Poland became kind of dependent on the socialist bloc or the Soviet Russia. Okay. So they imposed a specific style on the building. And
so may I ask you a question? So the building was bombarded, right?
Yes.
And it never went down. And did you think that this actually helped the resistance in terms of saying, okay, they bombarded this building and it didn't go down. We have to resist. We shouldn't go down. Do you think there's a connection between that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Of course there's I think it made people think that they should, just protect this place more, and they should resist more,
Okay.
Yeah. And, of course, if you see this place being bombarded by the Germans again, it makes you feel like, basically struggle more.
Okay.
I think,
Okay.
To, I guess it provokes maybe little anger, and definitely wants, it makes you basically fight more maybe for what you for what you want to accomplish.
Okay.
After the war, it became a hotel eventually.
Oh, okay.
And it was associated, I think, with the communist time for some time.
Okay.
And again, because at 1989 the history shifted again. There's the dissolution of the Soviet bloc.
Yeah.
So in the past years, this place was again renovated, remodeled, and
Okay.
it seems like people did not want to remember this time, that kind of communist time either. They didn't want to think about the war, so they wanted to come back to the design, the original design, where the country was, regain its independence, and this place was originally created.
Okay. So it looks like the outside, I mean, the inside is really beautiful, right? The outside is still as it is when it was built.
Yes, exactly. We came back to the original actually look.
Okay. So I walked earlier like down. It's really beautiful. All the way like you walk all the floors and down. Even the interior is like really nice, and beautiful. And I hope that you can find some sort of an inspiration in this building. It's really about resistance. It's really about the symbol that this represents in the history of Poland, right?
Yes, and it's about preservation of heritage, which is
Exactly.
most important. It's important to, because we always think about specific time of history we want to go back to.
Yes.
And I think the history of this building, when people were trying to, go to this specific time of history they like the most, they try to express it through architecture, and I think it's, it's interesting to think about this building for that,
Okay. And now I have this takes me to my next question, right? So today we went to this town where we were able to see the house and the street where Maximilian Maria Kolbe grew up. And I know something about this saint. He's got a really a very interesting story. Would you mind sharing with the viewers who was really Maximilian Maria Kolbe? Like an important figure in the history of Poland.
So Maximilian Maria Kolbe was a priest, a Franciscan missionary.
Okay.
He's a patron of the city of Zduńska in Poland because he was born there.
Okay.
And he was canonized by the Pope John Paul II in early 1980s.
Okay.
So what he's known for, he was very active when he was alive. He was very active in, in promoting the cult of Virgin Mary, Immaculate Virgin Mary in Poland.
Okay.
So he was a Franciscan missionary who was publishing a lot, who was organizing some sort of association, religious associations.
Yeah.
And he was also a founder of a monastery near Warsaw. Called Niepokalanów.
Okay.
It was run by him. So, it sounds like purely religious, but actually he was also publishing, some issues related to social, political, topics. And this was actually this particular activity that he was following happened just before the war, before World War II.
Okay.
So he eventually found himself in the concentration camp in Auschwitz.
Okay.
In I think 1941. And in this concentration camp, there, the Germans, they had a habit to punish the prisoners who were inside the camp if one of the prisoners had escaped the camp. So they were choosing, a few of the prisoners, and they were basically, killing them for just to punish them for the people who had escaped from the camp. And one day they chose 10 new prisoners actually, and one of these prisoners was a man who had a family, children and a wife.
Okay.
And Maximilian Maria Kolbe was among the other prisoners who were not chosen, and he stepped in front of these people and he told the Germans he would like to volunteer to die instead of the man who had a family and children.
Wow.
So this was a sacrifice that he wanted to commit just to save someone else's life.
Okay.
And he was actually put, for to starvation for 7 days.
Okay.
And eventually, following all this, he died. he was canonized, as I said, more than 20 years ago, because people first remember this kind of act that he made
Yes.
to give life,
Yes.
to and basically to volunteer to sacrifice life for someone that he basically had not known at
Oh
all.
wow. Okay.
And
Wow.
the other thing for his activities, before the war.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's really commendable. What he did, to kind of like make that kind of decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, and yeah. So yeah, I read about this story, and I was able to go and see his house, the streets. I mean, the street that he grew up in. It's really inspirational, yeah. So thank you for sharing this, and yeah. Now let's move to my next question, which is about Nobel Prizes, right? Um, Poland has won at least 17 Nobel Prizes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really commendable. Uh, what do you attribute this, stellar performance to? What's the reason behind this? Like, how did they manage to pull this off?
Well, I'm sure there are a variety of reasons, but one of them would be the good, educational system.
Okay.
I think, over the years, of course, some of these Nobel Prizes happened earlier, in 19th century, where the country again did not exist, and
Okay.
many people sometimes, they were educated in different systems that belong maybe to Germans or
Okay.
Russian, but still I think there was important. The important idea was to preserve Polish culture, Polish
Okay.
tradition, and the kind of also struggle to preserve the educational system. So
Okay.
I think I still think the educational system in Poland, which is mostly public, it's actually at a good level.
Okay. And one of the winners actually is the former president of Poland. I mean, I know, people have different opinions and all of that, but personally, I feel like this is the kind of person that you need to have as a public servant, right? He led the country. He lived a normal life. He didn't take advantage of all the perks that you get when you were running a country.
You're talking about Lech Wałęsa.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And even when after he left office, he went and lived. He's living like a normal life like anybody else. And I thought that was very inspirational. And I thought I should share with you all here. So, what can you tell me about this man? And he also won. I should precise that he also won the Nobel Peace Prize.
The Peace Prize, yes.
Yeah, the Peace Prize, and that's really a great, recognition, right? So what can you tell me about him?
Well, he's very much associated with this time period of the early 80s and the 90s when he was a president.
Okay.
He was the leader of the movement of Solidarność, which
Okay.
really was about the people, right? And so I think for most of the Polish people who even, don't remember this from the childhood, this is someone who is really this kind of symbol of regaining the freedom.
Okay.
Like think about freedom of speech, or
Yeah.
freedom of, just the behavior. Following basically half a century of being under the communist rule. So he's really associated with the big, movement that
Okay.
had to just overthrow this. And, Lech Wałęsa was president
Okay.
later in the 90s, and then he kind of stepped out of the politics, and, now he's traveling, sometimes giving talks at different universities, sometimes also in the United States, but
Okay.
he has this kind of life, aside of the current politics in Poland.
Okay.
And I think, but still, he's a very respected man, and people
Okay.
just, think about him, I think, in a way, kind of, especially they pay tribute or respect to him.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's very interesting. Now I want to ask you a question that I always laugh about when I think about it. It's about the fact that most like dogs In
Uh-huh.
Poland, I called what? Burek. Is that true?
Yeah, Burek. Well, there's a name. Yeah, some dogs might be called Burek.
Okay.
Yes, I was. Yeah, I thought it was
Okay.
fun that you mentioned this actually, because I never thought about this actually. That's like many Polish dogs have this name.
Okay.
It's hard actually to translate to English. I get it to be something, maybe grayish. Even I think you mentioned this, right? It's just shows something ordinary, maybe. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know where does it come from. I think
Okay.
I found it. I don't personally have a dog that
Called Burek.
it's called Burek, and I
I
don't
see,
have
okay.
friends who.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so let's move to the next question.
Sure.
I think you already addressed that, the dog thing. So I also found out that Poles
Yes.
marry the youngest in the European Union.
Mhm.
Is there a reason behind this? Why? Why is it?
Well, I
Why
don't
is
think
this
that
happening?
Polish people realize that they marry the youngest in the European Union.
Yes.
I think it's an interesting fact that maybe statistics show that I think this changes a lot. I personally, it's hard for me to say what would be the reason this other than like some cultural tradition.
Okay.
In many Eastern European countries or Central or even the countries in the Balkans, they had this maybe trend to marry quite early.
Okay.
In the 20s,
Okay.
25. Now it's getting a bit, the statistics going a bit, up, showing that maybe in the 30s or
Yes.
late 20s.
Yes.
I think this is changing, as a lot as after. It has changed after Poland,
Okay.
became part of the European Union. But yeah, it was part, the culture.
So, so I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
Going from the fact that Polish marry the youngest, I would assume that, the renewal of the population would be, consistent. But unfortunately, like I read an article before I came to Poland, it was published by The Economist, I believe, and it says that the population is shrinking.
Yes.
That's like,
yes, because
like odd, like what's
doesn't-
going on? Like,
it doesn't mean that if people, marry young, it doesn't mean that they will have more children.
oh, okay, I see, okay.
So I
Okay.
think people, as in many, other countries, people they tend to have just less children because they want to think about,
Yes.
financial stability first.
Oh, okay.
And as many of my friends, who grew up earlier, of course, they they came from a family of 3. They had 3 siblings. Now I think many people they have 1, maximum 2.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
children. So I think people think mostly about economical stability, and the divorce rate is also
Going up?
going up.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay. And so next question. The strongest man competition, right? Poland has won a lot of those. Is there a reason, like, why they're winning those?
It's an interesting question. I don't think that it's a Polish national thing to think about. Like
Being
the
strong.
strongest.
Oh, okay.
I think what became a kind of Polish thing recently in terms of sport is the ski.
Okay.
Ski jumping, especially in the past 10 years, 15
Okay.
years. After
Okay.
2000, we had some good, ski jumpers, and
Oh,
it
okay.
was like, I think, really something that it's important, of course, it's with soccer. I think, that you're right that, we had some good, actually, scores, right? I don't know how to say that, in terms of being having the strongest athletics.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So, okay, that's interesting. Next question. What can you tell me about this tradition called Marjana? Am I saying it right?
Almost.
Okay.
Marzanna.
Marjana. Okay. What can you tell me about this tradition?
Marzanna, it's related, it happens only in the spring, the first day of spring,
Okay.
basically. So it would would be in March. And as I remember this, from my childhood, I think for children it's probably more important.
Okay.
We were we were making some sort of dolls,
Okay.
like some sort of kind of fake dolls,
Okay.
decorated with flowers sometimes. We were using hay or some, other materials, and
Okay.
we were kind of throwing this into the water on the first day of spring. Because
Okay.
this doll was symbolizing winter, and we
Okay.
just wanted to forget it, just, throw it in the water, and this happened usually somewhere in a lake.
Oh, okay.
My childhood, I remember we were going close to the forest, there was a little lake, and everyone was happy because we had a day off out of school. So
okay.
just, celebrate the beginning of spring, and because the winter was usually quite long, everyone was looking into it. And I've heard, I think like some other countries, maybe in Eastern Europe, they also share this tradition. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's...
So it's really kind of thinking about, rebirth, kind of, the new season, to welcome the new season.
Oh, okay. And, okay, so now what can you tell me about the tradition of people in Poland eating pizza with ketchup?
Oh,
where does it come from? Yeah, it's very interesting.
Remark.
Yeah. Where does it come from? Like, yeah, it's...
Where's the origin for that? It's hard for me to say, but it's true that I've seen many people, and I've had many friends, and I think I've done this by myself. I was putting ketchup on pizza in Poland, and not only pizza but also different sauces. Sometimes those are like some mixture of sauces or garlic sauces, and I don't know. I think like sometimes I think Polish people just like to enjoy something with a sauce. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend to go, to an Italian pizza place in Poland and do that because, it's not going to be considered, like the real pizza. But, besides good pizza places, if you go to any others, usually you will be kind of, asking to bring ketchup and put on your pizza. Polish people like it.
Oh, I see. Interesting. My last question to you before we move to the second segment, right, is about this. I heard, right, that here in Poland during Christmas, you watch Home Alone. Is that true? That's an American movie, by the way. Home Alone. I'm sure a lot of you know about it.